Salam and welcome to Al Mayadeen. This is the proximate aspect. I'm Zainab As-Safar. So good to have you, sir.
My pleasure.
Allow me to start, sir, by asking you, the internationally acclaimed American linguist / philosopher Noam Chomsky's impression about you is, quote, "If Imran Khan were running, I will take time to vote for him. I don't think anything happened that justified his expulsion from the political system," unquote. Today, at least 77 court cases have been filed so far against you. This is the latest update and counting, perhaps. Who is behind these cases? Is there a specific side or person that you can name, sir?
Well, we have been taken over by a bunch of criminals. Pakistan, the reason why our economy, which was going through its best performance in 17 years in terms of growth rate, in record exports, record agricultural production, record taxes, industrial growth, and IT exports were just improving. So a country that was going through its best period in 17 years as far as the economy went, despite 2 years of COVID-19, our government was removed through a conspiracy. The conspiracy was led by our ex-army chief. He combined with these two crooked families who had been ruling Pakistan for 30 years. And I had replaced them. So he brought them back, and there 61% of the cabinet was on bail on corruption cases. So they were imposed on us. And now what has happened is that they're all petrified of elections. They know that my party, whenever there are elections, will sweep the elections. Out of 37 by-elections since we have been out of power, my party has swept 30 of them. So because they're scared of elections, what they want is they want to have me disqualified or put into prison or even killed, because we treat them as mafias. And so that's why you have 77 cases, and every day there is a new case. I have blasphemy case on me. I have sedition case. I have terrorism case. There are 3 terrorism cases on me. So, you know, the whole idea is to remove me from the scene.
Right. So do you, sir, consider this as a political assassination? How do you confront this arduous situation? And what about the physical assassination? Who wants to liquidate Imran Khan? Give me a name, please, a specific name. Let's specify.
The assassination attempt on me was predicted by me. 2 months earlier, 6 weeks earlier, on 2 public rallies, I actually, in the rallies, I announced who was this attempt on me through a religious attempt. The decoy was supposedly a religious fanatic, but the people behind them were these 2 families, these mafias, and one of the intelligence agencies guy, which I named. Once I survived the attempt, I named this guy called General Faisal, who is in the ISI, and our intelligence agency, and then there's the Prime Minister and there's the Interior Minister. Both the Prime Minister and Interior Minister have been involved in extrajudicial killing. Both of them have blood on their hands, and for them, assassinating an opponent was not going to be anything new. But joining them was this intelligence officer, General Faisal. These 3 were responsible.
To add to all this, a prohibition order by Pakistan's Electronic Media Regulatory Authority to ban the broadcast of your speeches / press talks on Pakistani TV channels. Wow, I mean, why do they fear you that much? Anyways, what is, sir, your message to the people of Pakistan and to the world as a whole through Al Mayadeen today?
Look, they're banning me because they're scared that we are now going towards elections. Elections are in 60 days' time. The Supreme Court has announced election in the two of our provinces, which is 65% of Pakistan. The elections are in 2 months' time. So the reason why they banned me is because they don't want me to campaign. And why they don't want me to campaign? They are scared. Because, as I repeat, out of 37 by-elections, where the government had been supported by the government machinery, by the administration, by the establishment, by the election commission, and all parties on one side, 13 parties on one side, my party beat all of them in 30 of 37 elections. So they're all scared. And that's why they want me out of the way.
Let's shift some gears and talk about the foreign policies. Mr. Khan, you have rejected the request of the EU ambassadors to voice an anti-Russian stance vis-à-vis the Russian military operation in Ukraine. How do you see the future of Pakistani-Russian ties and between East and West? Where does Imran Khan stand today, especially with the burgeoning of the China-Pakistan economic corridor?
Well, look, first of all, you know, foreign policy is made for the benefit of the people of your country. So national interest means the interest of the people of your country. And foreign policy should protect the interest of your country. So when the European Union ambassadors asked me publicly, which is unprecedented, it's against diplomatic norms, they publicly asked me to condemn the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I asked them one question, that why did they not ask India to condemn the Russian invasion? Because India is a partner, an ally of the United States in what is called the Quad. So it's a strategic ally. So why did they not ask India? Why did they ask Pakistan? So that was my number one point, which is bizarre. I mean, how dare they interfere in our internal politics? Secondly, my idea of international relations, as I've just said to you before, are the 220 million people of Pakistan. We had negotiated with Russia, just like India, to get discounted oil, because after the Ukraine invasion, the price of international oil went up. And countries like us suffer when the prices of oil go up, because it causes inflation, which causes poverty.
Sure.
So we had negotiated this discount. Now, by condemning them, we were jeopardizing this. And my third point is that why is it morality selective for the European ambassadors or for the United States?
Exactly.
Because when it comes to their interest, they do not condemn what is happening in Palestine or what is happening in Kashmir, because Israel is their ally and India is their ally. But they want us to take positions
double standards,
on international relations, which is their issue. And it's their issue. I mean, the European war is not Pakistan's issue.
True.
So they want us to take stand there where it can be very costly for our people.
Right. On issues pertaining to Pakistan, in a similar vein, definitely the issues of occupied Kashmir and Palestine are thorns in the heart of the Islamic Ummah in their common suffering and atrocities. In your perspective, sir, is there any viable solution for both issues?
Kashmir, the only viable solution is giving them autonomy, independence, according to the wishes of the people of Kashmir. This was the world community through the United Nations Security Council resolution 70 years ago was promised to the people of Kashmir that they will be able to decide their own destiny through self-determination, through plebiscite,
True.
whether they want to be with India or Pakistan. So they should be given the right. You can't, use force, and you cannot, through the barrel of a gun, keep people enslaved. So that is really the only solution. But unfortunately, I have no hopes with the current government in India, the BJP government. And the Israel is the same with the Palestinians. How can you deprive people of their right to live as free, liberated human beings? So it's the same thing is happening. Unfortunately, there is this very hardline Israeli governments that just for some reason will not understand that where are the Palestinians going to go? And how long will you keep them imprisoned like that or in an open prison? You have to give them their rights sooner or later. Otherwise, this problem is not going to go away. But unfortunately, I don't see much logic and reasoning amongst the hardline Israelis.
Right. Now, sir, Mr. Khan, Craig Murray, former British ambassador, I'm coming back to your matters internally, tweeted that the CIA is deposing of Imran Khan as Prime Minister for his opposition to the US drone campaign operating within and from Pakistan is probably the most underreported story of the last couple of years. What is the reason for your categorical refusal, saying absolutely not for establishing US military bases in Pakistan? And how do you see the future of the relationship, perhaps, with Afghanistan after the US withdrawal and the Afghans breaking the shackles of slavery, as you termed it?
Well, look, first of all, the reason why I said absolutely not, it's because Pakistan joined the US war on terror. 80,000 Pakistanis were killed. There was over $100 billion lost to the economy. We had over 400 drone attacks conducted by the US, bombings inside Pakistan, and a lot of the drone attacks killed innocent civilians. And the revenge attacks for the drone attacks were against the Pakistani security forces. And what did Pakistan get out of this joining the US war in the end? We were blamed for playing a double game. We were not even given credit for the sacrifices this country made for fighting their war. And so I'm not anti the United States. I think Pakistan should have good relationship with the US. US is a superpower, our trading partner. The most powerful expatriate Pakistani community is the Pakistani American community. So, I mean, we have to have good relationship with them. But, you know, a relationship that must have dignity and respect.
Right. Mr. Imran Khan, as a political leader, how is your relationship today with the West Asia region, with the Arab and Islamic world, especially Saudi Arabia and Iran, knowing that you've always played the role of the mediator and fence mending in many turbulent issues among countries in the region?
Well, look, you know, we have a terrible situation in the Muslim world. Most of the countries are going through conflict. You know, I mean, you look at the Muslim world, you know, Syria, you know, Afghanistan is just after 40 years, there's peace there. But then, you know, the tensions between the Muslim countries, and I feel that, you know, we are lagging so far behind. The world is leaving us behind. And we are involved in petty conflicts and we can't resolve our differences. You know, you just look all over Somalia, Yemen, all over, you know, there's conflict. And then tensions between, you know, Iran is our neighbor, and Saudi Arabia is one of Pakistan's closest friends. So the tension between them affects us. And, you know, so, and Turkey, I mean, Turkey is a powerful country, Muslim country. And then there were tensions before, but I'm glad Turkey's tensions are gradually easing with the Middle Eastern countries. And so, I mean, the more your tensions disappear, the more you trade between them, the more there will be prosperity in the Muslim world. Sadly, it is not the case right now.
Right. So that's true. Pakistan is facing unprecedented economic challenges owing to multiple factors, as you said. Might you tell us how to pull out the country from the current economic quagmire, as you termed it? Do you actually have answers for this dilemma, sir? And are there talks behind the scenes, behind closed doors, about the need for Pakistan to give up its nuclear weapons program in exchange for its economic rescue?
Well, the way Pakistan will get out of this economic mess is to have justice and rule of law. You must remember that countries that have rule of law are prosperous. Countries which have the law of the jungle are called banana republics. Not because of lack of resources, but because they don't have laws. Civilizations throughout history prospered which had relatively better justice system and rule of law. So Islam, when it prospered, and when what we call the golden age of Islam, it was when our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam set up the state of Medina based on a justice system of rule of law. And it is rule of law that liberated the people. And that's how they became world leaders. So that is the number one thing in Pakistan. And now when you talk about the second issue, it is worrying all of us. Because, we have, if there was no threat from a neighbor 7 times the size of Pakistan, which is India, we would not be worrying. I'm not very pro-nuclear weapons anyway. But the fear in Pakistan is that at the time in India, there is an extremist, a racist government in power with an extremist ideology. And so therefore there is a worry that if it's 7 times the size of Pakistan, if we do not have the protection of a nuclear cover, Pakistan's security would be at stake. So therefore, I don't know what is happening behind the scenes, but if a worry is that if you're economically bankrupt, then there would be a pressure for us, to give up our nuclear weapons. And this has been a worry of Pakistanis for a long time because of the insecurity bred by a neighbor 7 times the size of Pakistan.
You have announced recently that you have forgiven everyone, including those who attempted to take your life in Wazirabad last year, for the sake of the country and the journey towards real independence, or fighting for the haqiqi azadi, or true freedom. What is your strategy, Mr. Khan, in this sense? Though some might argue, well, you have burnt all your boats with major decisive elements in Pakistani politics, on top of which the military establishment.
Well, let me clarify first of all. The military establishment is one man, the army chief. So let's not bring the military. It's not some democratic organization where there's voting. It's just one man who takes decisions. Now, secondly, it doesn't matter whether there is no one with me, because I have the people of Pakistan with me. Thanks to the Almighty, today Tehreek-e-Insaf is the biggest political party in Pakistan's history. So therefore, when you have the people with you, you don't need anyone else. Now, the reason why I said I would forgive the ones who, and I know the ones who attempted to kill me, the reason I said I'd forgive them, because it is in line with our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam after the conquest of Makkah. He forgave everyone, people who were cruel to them, who had made them leave Makkah and migrate to Medina. So he forgave everyone. So therefore, similarly, I mean, it's not about me, it's about my country. So therefore, I can forgive those who were cruel to me or tried to kill me. But what I said you cannot forgive are the ones who have stolen money from the people of Pakistan. who've done corruption. You can't forgive them because that money belongs to the people of Pakistan.
My last question for you, Mr. Imran Khan, if you review and assess your political approach, have you made many mistakes? Where and what mistakes have you done? And what have you learned? What will you offer to Pakistan if you return to power?
Look, I mean, you know, you make all the mistakes all the time. We humans are humans, different to the angels, because we make mistakes. But successful human beings always learn from their mistakes. So the biggest mistake I made was that I believed that the ex-army chief, who was then the army chief when I was a prime minister, I believed that he was working for the same, for Pakistan, just like I was. I felt that his interest and mine were aligned. And so I trusted him completely. And I gave him an extension. But then I realized that he was actually, not with me. He was working for these crooks. And these are the crooks. He did a conspiracy to remove me and bring them back again. So it's made me understand that, sometimes I've always been a trusting guy. I trust people. But, the mistake I made was I thought his and my objective were the same. And so therefore, it was a big mistake to trust him completely. And he brought this country now to its knees. So, that's the biggest lesson. And secondly, never compromise on the rule of law. Because I did not have enough power. As a prime minister, I did not have the accountability bureau. It was a coalition government, a weak government. I did not have the power I needed to impose the rule of law. So the lesson is, I would never take power again or form government again if I did not have the power to impose rule of law in Pakistan.
Excellent, Imran Khan, former Premier of Pakistan, definitely a man of consequence. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us from the Pakistani city of Lahore. Definitely, and definitely also for your transparency. Pure pleasure to have you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure. لعل تصريحات عمران خان في فيلم وثائقي تم تصويره أثناء